Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome back to another viewer spectate. So I actually have a few of these to do, but I will space them out over, the next few days. I've got 3 of them to record before the upcoming patch. Today we're watching Hannibal Collector on Heimer. We're in gold, I believe, for EU West. So Heimer is a champion, arguably, that is growing in popularity, partially. He's still pretty not played. But when people play against the Heimer, they then realize, actually, that champion's not bad. I've played Heimer, I've watched other ones, I've even had one in one of my games today. It's not a weak pick. The problem with Heimer is I would call him a situational pick. That a lot of his strength does rely on his towers, clearly. And if you fight him on his terms, that's his strength. It's the same as Alawi. If you fight an Alawi inner ultimate, and hilariously, both of them are on the same team, but if you fight Alawi inner ultimate, it's her terms, she'll do really well. If you let her ult, walk away, re-engage, she doesn't have ultimate, or she misses her E, then you fight on your terms. The same kind of goes with Heimer. Now, the thing that Heimer does have going for him, I'd say a bit more over Alawi, is Heimer can have his 3 turrets out, and then he can have banked 3 more towers. The first thing I want to mention to Hannibal Collector, what he should be doing is actually preemptively putting some towers down potentially. And why you do that is he's put 2 now down, and if Yone was inclined, you can see right now he's killing them straight away, which he should be kind of doing. He doesn't have, or he initially didn't have 3 towers. He's only got 1 tower banked there. You can see in the bottom left, he only has 1 tower banked in right now. If you put your towers down straight away at the beginning of the game, it will then get the 3 towers back on cooldown, like basically nothing's bad's happened. So it just allows you to have that extra layer of security. You know, that extra layer of security can matter if you get level 2 ganked by the jungler or something like that. So it is worth knowing. It is something that I would consider doing. Obviously, one of the weaknesses, if you want to say, as Heimer, kind of like a Tristana, he is a relatively auto-pushing mid laner. In the fact that you don't control with your towers auto attack, they just auto attack. So if you do have towers in range of a minion wave, it will push. That's both a weakness. The strength of it, I will say, and we've shown this when we've played Heimer ourselves, is he's actually a very good 2v1 champion because of the towers, and especially if you land the grenade, the early damage is actually quite impressive. So even though you might be overextended, you may be over pushing, as long as you have those towers available, you're not a free kill for the jungler. You know, if you play it well, the grenades, I would say, is the underrated thing for Heimer. And, we are seeing Hannibal throw out the E kind of a bit willy-nilly. So the first kind of thing I'd say straight away, don't just throw your grenade just randomly. Your grenade is actually very valuable because that is what gives the utter attention to the laser beams of your towers. If Diana came, or if Yone did go for an all-in and he's right next to you, that's a lot easier to hit the grenade rather than throwing it at just mass range. So that's the first tip I would already give. The second tip, well, it's not really a tip. It is a bit weird to me that we're seeing, obviously, in between waves, Hannibal is just standing still at the back of the lane. I guess there's not a lot to do, but it's just a bit, for me, it's a bit jarring to see. So there's a fight happening with the junglers. So Diana, clearly the winner of this so far. Belveth does look like she'll get away. Hasn't even used flash. Diana's not used flash either. We did see Yone wanted to already go there, but nothing. I don't think anything's going to come of that. Gank now potential. I don't think Diana will go for that. Alawi's actually really strong. I actually just noticed something. Oh, snap. I just noticed that these are 2 viewers. I didn't even realize. So this is a duo queue. Oh, do I need to? No, Heimer's just going there. This is a duo queue. I just recognize, unless it's the weirdest coincidence in the world, which I doubt, that's Dumleonamain in top lane. So Dumleonamain is a community member of ours, and then Hannibal, he goes by a different Twitch name, so I can't remember what his Twitch name was. But yeah, so I presume this is a duo. Otherwise, it's the weirdest, most unlikely thing ever. This game is roughly gold 4 on EU West. So nothing, I would say, too bad by the Heimer. The only thing that I would like to see a little bit more is potential more harassment on the Yone. Because, it's range versus melee. Heimer is especially good versus melee champions. We're not seeing too much harass on the Yone himself, in the fact that he is even farm. I wouldn't want a Yone to be even farm, or even one technically farm ahead, with a Heimer at 5 minutes in the game. I'd want him to be 5-10 CS under. And that you only get that by constantly having that harass. And what do I want? I want the towers to move forward. I want the towers to be in range of when he's going for their melee minions. I want the towers to start hitting the Yone too. That's the only way that you're actually going to make him panic or go back and miss farm. I understand why Heimer's not doing it, and it's for this is that reason. It's waiting for a gank. What is Diana doing here? Yeah, I'm not... Right. I'm not sure why she did that. So she used flash. She died anyway. That is, we just right there is the strength of Heimer. And that is partially maybe why the Heimer's had his towers always kind of in the middle of the lane, is waiting for that gank and walking back to his towers. Normally a jungler won't just give you a kill like that. That was really weird. But even like you guys just saw how much damage that was. The Yone was low health. The Diana did that, which was odd. If the turrets were moved more forward, you would have been denying the Yone more over time, and Diana still might have died in that situation. So I would like that just a little bit extra aggression by the tower placements. So we are teleporting back to mid. Yes, it's still bugged. Riot do not fix a lot of things. Bot lane going for some nice kill there on the Caitlyn, who is a pretty decent amount of farm ahead already. But they will recover that. I need to check the match history. I'm too interested now, sorry. I am just checking if these two are duo or this is the weirdest coincidence in the world. It has to be that they're duo. Has to be. If they're not, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, they are. They seem to be, which is fine. They are pretty much a perma duo team that they've played. So like Dumb Leona main in solo queue has got 940 games of ranked this season. And in solo queue, duo with Hannibal is 440 of those games, and then a lot of other duo, you know, pretty much. Again, some people will be like, do I not like that? I mean, I'm not a big fan of duo. I think there's no surprise in that. I would never want to risk yourself climbing because of duo, because if your partner quit the game or eventually delete it, it is going to affect you massively as a player. Oh, unlucky Heimer ult, but does get the slow down, and that might ultimately give Bel'Veth the kill. Nice little positioning there by Bel'Veth. One kill. Yone ults, and a kind of a weird ult, to be honest. He will flash away, and that it will be not too bad. Yeah, so they do play a lot of duo, but again, what I would say is League is ultimately, it is a video game. It is here to be fun. One thing I've seen some people, you know, the duo conversation has happened quite a lot, obviously, in recent time. I presume Riot probably regrets them mentioning that they might get rid of duo because it's made so much conversation happen about it. And then obviously they've said they're not going to get rid of duo queue yet. What I would say, some people have said, what if, you know, right now you cannot duo if you're master and above, which is true. What happens if they just change that? What happens if you can't duo if you're gold or above or platinum and above? Because the higher rating you go, maybe it should focus more on individual skill rather than duo. Maybe, like maybe is that an answer? I'm not really sure. No matter what they do, you're gonna make some people happy and some people sad. And one thing is worth mentioning, Leona main I think plays support and top, and then Hannibal it looks to be mainly a Heimer player. So it's not like they're duoing in the extreme example. What are the extreme examples of duoing? So bot lane is the ultimate extreme example. You're playing AD carry and support as a duo on comms. Massive big advantage if you're not against a duo. The other ones, like historically, is something with a jungler. So being mid and top, it doesn't really affect. It's still an advantage. You can't hide it's not an advantage. Oh, Heimerdinger ult goes a bit spry there. It's still an advantage. You know, you have a teammate that you can communicate with, you can coordinate with, you have a teammate that you can trust to not hopefully run it down. You know, there's still an advantage even if you're not having role synergy. But it's not abusing that fact, if that makes sense. But like if you were jungling and top lane and you just camp your duo, or you're playing jungle and mid and you just camp mid lane, that's obviously where it gets a bit iffy. But, you know, these two are kind of doing their own thing, as it were. They're just playing together, which I don't mind that as much. I'm sure people in chat who are watching right now, I'm sure you guys probably don't mind it as much. But yeah, it is an interesting conversation, as it were. So what I like what we're seeing, by the way, is more harass is happening. add voice chat. Well, in the Riot meeting I had recently, they've said they're never adding voice chat to the game. Nice grenade. That's lovely. Not bad at all. And, you know, move the towers forward. Because even if Diana came here, she would probably be in trouble. Yone's going for it, misses his initial Q, and that's not going to go too well. The Yone main dies in top lane to the Yorick. Again, scary champion partially as Yorick in pure 1v1s. If he gets everything right in his combo, he actually does a lot of damage, weirdly. But yeah, so yeah, just someone saying, you know, voice chat. No, they're never going to add voice chat. Ever. It would be too of an advantage to people that use it versus people who don't want to use it. And right now, nobody has that advantage and nobody has that disadvantage. So that's a good thing. Secondly, League is an incredibly toxic game. So people who are in minorities or female, they'd be just, you know, we all know what would happen there. Let's not hide that. And ultimately, it's like what Riot have said is right now, there's no disadvantage or advantage to voice chat. And if they made voice chat a thing, it would put an obligation, the higher rating you go especially, for people to use it. That doesn't exist right now, and that's okay. Because I would never use voice chat in solo queue, but I would then get flamed for not joining voice chat. That's the point. You'd get actively flamed for not using it, because you are then at a disadvantage, if that makes sense. You're only going for a bit of an all-in, seeing his opportunity, going for a proper all-in here, uses everything, but doesn't get the kill. And what I want from Heimer to do is... Oh, well, he's overstaying a bit of a weird black shield, actually, by Morgana. But Heimer will end up surviving, which isn't too bad. Doesn't have teleport. I'd imagine Heimer wants to stay in lane for another 30 seconds, because he has teleport up in 30, and then he will be able to reset, which isn't bad at all. Again, Yone has also got hit. If he can land this grenade, land the grenade, any grenade, doesn't have it up. Good, Zhonya's into no kill yet, but that was very close. If Black Shield didn't exist or wasn't there, he probably would have died. He may have had extra confidence to go in the way he did because of having the Black Shield, but still, good use of stopwatch. I do think Heimer probably would have died if he didn't use that, so that's not too bad. Has now got a small CS lead and is going back at the right time because teleport is now available. So everything I would say so far to Hannibal, everything's okay. You know, there's nothing that is completely standing out to me of like, oh, you really need to do that, or you really need to do that. Some people in Twitch chat, which obviously I will read the Twitch chat as we go, some people are saying, like, does he play with Locke's camera? Because the peripheral vision may not be as there. Because, you know, when the Diana ganked, it did take a moment to recognize she was there, or Morgana did take a moment to recognize. Maybe. Again, I'm not obviously sure. I don't think Hannibal is here right now. I don't think Leona main is here right now, because I presume Leona main would also know. All in by the bot lane. Triss gets one kill. She jumps away. Doesn't end up getting out of the stun, though. Belveth, again, look at this. They just did not notice each other at all. Oh, you are here. Gunilla. Okay, so Gunilla is here and says, yeah, mostly locked. So that is worth mentioning is it is slightly noticeable that you're playing locked because you are noticing things a little bit late. So I would always say to people, if you're weird flash by the Yone, if, you know, try to play unlocked. I know it does feel a bit weird to people, but it is more advantageous than not. The equivalent of how I would put it in real world terms, the best way I've always been able to say it, is if you know horse racing, they put on some horses that get spooked easily, they put blinders. So basically the horse's tunnel vision that only can look forward. They can't look to their sides. That's basically what you're doing to yourself in mid, is you're tunneling. If you're locked and you're in the middle right now, this is your vision right here, and you're mainly just looking at the middle of the screen. If you're more loosey-goosey, you could have your character in the top left, but you're looking down here. You know, it's more, you're more aware of what's going on. So I would try to get into the, you know, using unlocked. Obviously, it is worth mentioning of any champion to use unlocked, locked camera. Heimer's actually one of the best ones to do. Why? Because he is a very focused on a position that is on him type of champion. So I don't know if that's why you play this champion. But yeah, of all champions to use locked camera, Heimer is one of the best. Anyway, because he wants the fight to go to him anyway. So yeah. It is worth mentioning. Yeah, if you're an unlocked player, it doesn't mean that you're locked 99.9% of the time. Ooh, needs to hit the grenade. Oh, has the good ultimate. He is going to survive. Isn't going to get the kill. Nearly gets the kill, though. Very close. 59. No, he got it with the burn. There we go. You got it. Very nice. again, good defense. We take those. So again, you are seeing why Heimer is so good against melee champions in absolute all-ins. He has the defense because ultimately the melee champion has to go for Heimer to kill him, but he's getting attacked by all the towers. So yeah, not bad. Good defense. What I liked as well is you didn't ultimately panic completely. You did do what you needed to do. You got your ultimate tower down. You landed some spells, and that was what got you the kill. And then obviously got the survival, which is great. So bot lane is not going too well. Obviously. Brand, yeah, I'm not sure about that one, buddy. I think he might be dead because the pool is an execute. It is indeed. He is dead. Belveth doing some stealing, a 0 point. But yeah, so that's my only thing. If you're looking to, like Gundilla said, you like him, your playstyle works with him, yeah. If you want to take it to the next level, I would say it's not impossible to climb with locked screen, but it is going to hurt a bit the higher rating you go, because the more aggressive ganks, the weirder gank paths, all that stuff, it's going to hurt you more being just focused and tunneled into one spot. Teleport to mid lane to stop Yone increasing tower damage. I'm kind of okay with that. You know, Heimer is worth mentioning. We did have like a small roam there. I think that roam was more of a defensive roam to stop like the momentum the enemy team bot lane had. Heimer's not obviously a good roaming champion. He's a setup champion. He needs time to set up his towers. And yeah, even if you've got 3 towers banked in, it does still take a little while to get those going, and they don't attack straight away. So he's not exactly the best, obviously, champion for doing that. Now, I don't obviously know, you know, it is worth mentioning, I'm not sure in the duo with Leona main if you do anything not cheesy, but like Heimer's one of the best Baron champions in the game. Alawi, not bad at it, and also is quite tanky. I don't know if you guys have ever just gone, let's do Baron together quite early on, because weirdly, you could probably do Baron quite early on with Heimer and something else. But yeah, so Ganilla said you climbed 300 to 450 50 LP on him this season. He works for me. This is my second season I really played. Oh, that's not bad at all then. Gold 4. Climbing a lot. You found a champion that works for you. That's all good. But yeah, ultimately, there's not massive negatives, which is a good thing. You know, sometimes you do these viewer spectates and there's actually a pretty decent list. There's not a big list here. I would say the level 1 thing of putting towers down to then obviously that gives you the safety of having them banked straight away would be quite nice. The grenade use, I would say, could be a little bit cleaner. You know, and I don't think that's anything negative. Is the grenade use has been a little bit touch and go. As I mentioned, another one, obviously in lane phase, is especially when you're against a melee champion, I wouldn't just throw the grenade out like we were doing in the early game, because that is, one, your defense, to when an all-in happens on you melee. It's much easier to land it when they're on top of you, rather than yeeting it, and it gives the enemy time to dodge it. So those are like little things that I think that definitely could see, even though they're little, they could see big improvement and actually make a pretty decent difference. So hopefully that has helped already, hopefully. Build-wise, completely fine with it. Not sure if you go Leandri every game. I'd be fine if you go Leandri every game. I'm sure there potentially is worlds that other items might be okay, or other items would be okay for Heimer. You might want to do a burst game and then go Ludens, but Leandri's is very good on Heimer. So, you know, even your build, if it is relatively the same every game, there are some champions that just get away with that, and it's fine. You know, you should still be flexible and situational. Like this game, you're buying Azonias, and I presume you're buying Azonias because you're against the Yone, and that's completely all good. But yeah, so Ganilla said, who is Hannibal, the only thing that they tend to do is when Leona main is on Leona, hence the name, they sometimes force an early dragon. Yeah, that's good. Again, that is not even, I would say, a duo thing. That is just a smart strategy thing. You should use the Heimer's strength of objectives. He is literally one of the strongest champions of objectives in the game. So again, grenade use there. Did unfortunately miss the grenade. We want to obviously try to land those. From memory, we've only had one direct hit. And that was on the Yone here. And it went very well. That's when you had a really good trade on the Yone. The Yone, unfortunately, is getting some free kills. It looks to be on the Brand. The Brand, obviously, is not having the best of game. And just reminding everybody, it used to be quite bad that 2 people you go Leandry. They obviously have updated that so multiple champions can go Leandry now, which is good. It was a bit silly that you got actively hurt. Yeah, she got 1 kill at least. You know, it was actively a bit silly that, you know, you got hurt by 2 people going Leandry, so it's good now that both can do it. Zhonya's now complete. I don't mind the Zhonya's being, by the way, complete before tier 2 boots. Because again, what type of champion is Heimer? He's a defensive shell champion. That is, no, you come to me. So he doesn't need the fastest boot straight away. He likes to have defense. Well, his offense is Leandry, the burn damage of towers constantly ticking. And then the defense of, you're on top of me, I Zhonya's, and my towers are still attacking you. So yeah, really good decision, honestly. I'm completely fine with that.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Obviously, the Diana on the enemy team is having a bit of a rough game. Shutdown happening. The Brandable people kill the Yorick. Bit odd, but, you know, it happens. So we are now starting, by the way, to get into the phase of the game. The lane phase should be less important, in a way. That roaming... Well, it's not even roaming. It's just not lane phase anymore. So I'm very interested to see how we translate what we have the strength on Heimer. We've got the strength on Trist. Ultimately, I think, you know, Leona main here is going to be bored because they will have to just take care of the Yorick split pushing the whole game. Hullbreaker Yorick obviously is just going to be in a side lane 99% of the time. But I would like to see dragon pressure increase. You know, your team fight is actually very, very scary. Your control with team fights should be very top tier. If you do randomly have Heimer and Alawi in an area, letting them have setup time, that's ridiculously strong. So yeah, Dragon is being started. Yone bot lane. We don't know where Yorick is. Diana was looking for a Q there, but misses. She might pop over, but I doubt it. Nope, there he is. Still top lane. So are we going to see a Baron? Maybe. I wouldn't mind seeing a Baron if I'm completely honest. Because that would also force a Yorick, in theory, to get involved. And you want him to get involved. You don't want to let him just go, oh, he got a tier 2. And oh, he got that tower over there. Oh, he got an inhib. You want to force big things when there's a split push champ like Yorick in the game to basically force them to group. Because if they don't, well, they've lost Baron. And then, oh, you're grouping all here. Oh, we lost inhib. Yorick, you need to come back. That's how you beat a split pusher. The other way of beating a split pusher is you kill the split pusher. If you can kind of sense the enemy team isn't going to be achieving too much, you just murder him very quickly, and then you can do quite well. So, here we go. Big tower down. Enemy team going for an all-in. Yona, good. Zhonya's. The tower damage is coming through. Lovely use of the tower ultimate there. And I like the decision of that's the one you did. You know, Heimer can technically ult in 3 different ways. It's all completely situational. That was the best use of that, you know, 100%. So Belveth is continuing the fight. Belveth is crazy. Does go down. Can Heimer get this kill? We need some towers. Do we have any of them? Well, we're walking towards one. There we go. And by the way, that was all without Tristana. So Tristana shouldn't be bot lane split pushing alone. I think we all know that. But that went really well considering you guys didn't have an AD carry. Okay, here we go. Land a grenade. Ooh, ran. One more. Ah, maybe one more auto attack with the burn could have got that kill, but very close. A little bit of a panic, obviously, seeing that Caitlyn, but I don't ultimately think you thought you'd see a Caitlyn. Oh, grenade use. Yeah, okay. I know, obviously, why you did it. There's vision now. Tristana might hunt it, but probably not. But yeah, ultimately, really good fight. I like that. Good use. And I also like you did it on the corner and then hid behind the corner, letting your tower take the brunt. But then the enemy team kind of go, I need to go on you. But your tower's then like, I'll murder you all. So yeah, good play. Really good Zhonya's as well. The timing of that was fantastic. You dodged Yone ultimate with it. So yeah, overall, just very nice stuff we're seeing. Presumably a Riley would be happening next. Really good item against the enemy team. And well, pretty much a good item on Heimer every game. You know, when a Diana or a Yone has to go in the middle of the fight, or Yorick is randomly team fighting, slowing them constantly. Why am I on a Tristana right now? Is fantastic, obviously, and your towers do apply that. So yeah, it's a great item on Heimer. Obviously, you'll know that. But yeah, so she is probably wanting to try and get that control, I'd imagine. So I'm still in my mind thinking Baron could be on the table here. You're very strong. Morgana just died. If there isn't like a potential Baron force here, I'd be surprised. Yorick is still split pushing. They do say a Yorick will still be split pushing even about 20 years after the game finishes. I wouldn't mind a Baron right now, honestly. Like, I really would not mind a Baron. Yorick is dumb split pushing. Potentially go kill him as a team. Go kill him, he's overextended, and then Baron. But that doesn't seem to be what the play is. So, Kate, again, if you kill Caitlyn, and then Baron is not potentially being, or even like bullying her away, and Baron still isn't being thought about. Oh, Yone. This is where I would say, sometimes, especially as a champion like a Heimer, ooh. And so there's a bit messy going on. It is worth mentioning. So Yorick is now here. Does hit the rocket, which is nice. Belveth doing her best. Needs to get involved, get some towers in the go. So Alawi is here. I want to a little bit more central, I would have liked, to be honest. I know, obviously, you need to, like, you're probably calling Leona main of, like, no, my towers are back here. But yeah, you can move your tower. You can ult the tower. So Morgana should go down, I'd imagine. Grenade into the rockets. Again, here. Very close. Very nice by Leona main. Yone now here. Can we land a grenade or anything? A grenade wasn't up, but does get the double kill. Overall, not too bad. A bit messy. But, yeah. Oh, does it heal? Gets the heal off. My God. So, again, these two are working well together. You can tell. So, what I would say is, like I was going to say before that all happened, sometimes when you're such a good Baron killing champion, I would even like start Baron sometimes or ping Baron multiple times, be like, let's do it, baby. And it just gets them in the mind to do it. Even if you don't absolutely start or absolutely force it straight away, it gets the mind of, wait a minute, we do have a Heimer. We probably could do Baron quite quick. Because I know that fight just all happened, but Baron could have got done there. Godilla says you're going demonic third item and often goes collector fourth. I would not go collector, if I'm completely honest. I partially understand why you're doing it, but yeah, I would not do collector at all. You would actually be massively weaker by doing that item. Yes, there'll be some kills that you go, oh, I only got that kill because of collector. But ultimately, if you got a death cap instead, or you got something like a Riley instead, you'd be getting the kill anyway because you'd have more AP strength. So yeah, in some kills, it's like, oh, I only got that kill because that little extra execute. But if you had a proper AP item, they'd be dead anyway. So like, ultimately, don't buy collector on Heimer. I know it's like probably a cheesy thing. You might have got it from like a Heimer main potentially, but you are losing out on strength. You're not gaining strength by going collector. You're actively losing strength. And you know, yes, maybe it works. You know, you might think it works, but you would be stronger not doing it. Bubbly Bop Bob, 28 months tier 1 says hello. Hello, Bubbly Bop Bob. But yeah, it's a bit like Gunilla. It seems to be a little bit. He's not arguing, but he likes it. Again, I only can give my advice. If I saw a Heimer with collector, you'd be 100% weaker. Like there's no shadow of doubt in my mind. You are weaker. But yeah, if you like it, obviously I can't force you to change what you're doing, but it would potentially be a lot weaker than what you could be. And yeah, you're basically paying 3,000 gold for a relatively small execute. That's not worth it. That's not cost effective. You know, 3k gold's not a little amount of money. So we did just use ultimate there. Oh, positioning is a little bit overextendy. Could hopefully get the ultimate down though. And then survives with the flash into the kill. Into the kill. Bonk. There we go. So it's actually ended okay. Again, positioning wise, obviously being a bit like alone wasn't the best, but it turned into an okay situation, and that ultimately I will say is a lot because of the strength difference, which isn't too bad. So Arcanine is just doing a bit of math. She's saying a collector executes at 5% health. That's 125 damage on a 2500 HP target. 125 damage for 3,000 gold when you have no scaling in AD. It just puts perspective on it a little bit. If you bought a 3,000 gold AP item equivalent, like roughly Riley, you'd be gaining a lot more than 125 damage. You know, that's mathematically, that is just true. So yeah, it is obviously sometimes the math is worth doing it. I know Arcanine, you're quite a theory crafty person, so it does make sense. And you know, math can't lie. So a little bit of TP there. Again, not the worst thing in the world. I do think grouping should now happen. Force grouping, Baron buff with a Heimer and an Alawi. If you're grouping and you have time to set up the tentacles, you have time to set up the towers, it's going to be nigh on impossible for the enemy team to do anything. But I want to see that. I want to see that happen. Sometimes, obviously, you know what's the best, but then people like, wait, where are you going? Why are you in a side lane? The only one I would say I'd be relatively okay with being in a side lane is literally what's happening right now is Bel'Veth. I'm fine partially with her being there. She actually can get to the fight relatively quick. You could technically put Alawi still side lane. Teleport is available. But at the same time, Alawi teleporting into a fight isn't always the best because there'll be no tentacles in the area. Versus an Alawi that is staying in the rough area, she'll get a couple passive ones off before potentially a fight breaks out. So Bel'Veth, the one thing I don't want her to do is die, but she ends up escaping, and Yone also burnt ultimate there, so that's not bad at all. She is going to go back. Don't think she needs to go back, but she does. That does slow the momentum of the push quite a lot. Because, yeah, I want to see quite aggressive momentum pushing. Yeah, I want to see the towers sieging. I want to see tentacles being able to spawn all over the enemy base. Oh, that's an all-in by Diana. Into some misses, unfortunately, but, you know, at least no one dies. It's not too bad. Morgana bind lands. Not the worst thing, because there's no engage the enemy team have available. Dragon is coming up, by the way. I forgot to put this one on objective timers. Oh, Yone does get himself a little picky pick. So that Yone is still looking for those opportunities, which is good for him. Wow, Bel'Veth actually gets that kill. Okay. Jesus Christ. Caitlyn gets eat by Alawi. That could be a lot of damage, but not too much in the end. Bel'Veth is just all very close. Can we get some towers down? Gets the ultimate tower right next to the Yone where he's going to end up. Legendary Heim. What the hell? I don't even know how you got that kill, but you got the kill on Diana. Is there like a secret tower somewhere that I didn't see? Maybe this one? But I'm not even sure if that would have been activated. But yeah, get a kill. Breaking open the base. And overall, not too bad. So we saw a lot of good things this game. So overall, positive. Thumbs up, definitely. So the things that I would like you to work on, and, you know, if you wanted another viewer spectate in a month or 2 months, whatever, or just work on it. Grenade use, I'd say be a little bit more, and I know this sounds weird, but be a bit more reserved with your grenade use in lane phase, because ultimately that could get you actually more kills. When an engage happens, 100% landing the grenade is better than just yeeting one and hoping. Obviously, item build we've discussed. Ultimately, you would be stronger not going collector, but obviously you didn't do it this game. But, you know, a lot of things were positive. I saw a lot of positives this game. I saw good use of your ultimate, right decisions. The only one I would say, again, is the grenade use. The grenade ultimates weren't always the cleanest, but the idea is definitely there. So, a lot of positives. Good control of mid lane. You did look to roam a couple times, which obviously is not normally Heimer's thing. But when you did roam, you were doing it for reason. You weren't just doing it for no reason. You went bot lane because, oh, they have Rift Herald. I'm just going to go there and help that stop. That's fine. Like, for even a non-roaming champion like Heimer, that's a smart thing. So everything is, like, relatively good. Farm is decent. Kill, you know, perfect death score. A lot of positives here. So, yeah, be happy with that. Heimer is definitely a good champion. Underrated as well. And being an underrated champion, a lot of the time makes enemy team cocky. And, like, a Yone will go on you and then end up dead. Or a Diana will gank you and then get killed in one go. And you're like, whoa. Because people aren't used to playing against a Heimer. So, yeah, a lot of positives there. Just work on the couple things that we said, and yeah, I think you'll just continue climbing, if I'm completely honest. And finally, Denying Enigma 95, thank you so much, dude, for the 23 months of Prime. Says 1 more month before 2 years, Huz. Yeah, amazing, my dude. Thank you so much for the long-term support. It really has been a lot. But there we go. That is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, these viewer spectates, I enjoy doing them. Please do throw a like on them, throw a comment, throw a subscribe. As I said, I do have a bunch of these to record because the patch is coming on Wednesday. Today is Monday, and I have 2 more to record. So I will be recording those before Wednesday, and they'll be spaced out over the next few days. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace. Crawl down the